Everyone take your damn seats. My name is Professor Jerk, and you can call me Professor Jerk, and this is Trainables. Bismarck 101. The Bismarck. Minnie's favorite ship. Well, they want it to be, but they just can't quite get it to perform how they want. I had a request for a Trainables video on this ship for a few weeks that I've been sitting on, and I've been wanting to get to it, but I was busy grinding those 200 Krakens. Speaking of, I'm sitting on two more right now, one in the Byron, one in the G101. I don't know if I'll post both or either. The Baron is more funny than anything else, so I was going to use it for the patch notes this week, and the G101 is kind of long, so I don't know. If you're interested in either or both, let me know in the comments, but I'm getting off topic. The Bismarck. So now that I've gotten those Krakens out of the way, I've been playing this a bit more lately, and I'm here to say this is a good ship. And when the secondary penetration buff comes through, it might become very good. But to get the most out of this ship means playing it the way it needs to be played, and not the way you want it to play. Of course, that can be said with every ship, but some you can bend to your will, not the Bismarck. And the place where it fails is brawling. Well, sort of. Brawling in the sense of what most people think of, the 6 kilometer range, in which case you are going to get wrecked 6 ways from Sunday nearly every time. Where does this ship need to sit to be comfy? Around 10 to 11 kilometers in my opinion. And let me go ahead and put my commander and module setup for this ship. And yes, it is a full secondary build, and I'm using Henry J. Hyde, and it is my opinion that, unfortunately, you need to have this very commander to get the most out of this ship. Celiacs can give you some of it, like the secondaries and the heals. Von Hipper can give you the rest with accuracy. But if you smash those two together, you get Hyde. And I can't speak to any of the other commanders like Azure Lane Scharnhorst, as I don't have them. But Hyde gives you accuracy and secondaries and heals. Precious, precious heals. So because this ship is so finicky, you really need to watch your positioning. I talked in a previous video about its huge superstructure and how people can hit that from anywhere on the map, causing you damage. But if you position yourself properly and push forwards and backwards at the right time, you're going to have mucho success. And since this is Trainables, I'm going to talk about my positioning and pushes on this map, the much despised Sleeping Giant. So when we loaded into this map, I spawned with another Bismarck and a York, and oftentimes I find this to be one of the most critical moments of the game. Where am I going first? And I spawned on the outer edge and was ready to go where our friendly Bismarck is now, out around I-9. But since they turned to head that way, I was more than happy to play the inside line of C and D. In fact, I would much prefer this location because of its exit to B, in case things get a little out of my control over here. But I was willing to go there if it meant creating a crossfire. Now you guys hear that term often, and in case you're unfamiliar with what it is, the basic premise is that you position yourself so that the red ships will have to give broadside to one of the blue ships. So at first I was focusing the Tirpitz, as I had a nice juicy broadside while my secondaries worked the King George. And though the King George was giving me broadside too, I had more turrets facing the Tirpitz, and honestly it's kind of the bigger threat, so that's where I was shooting. So I had to resist that urge to just barrel right into C-Cap and park myself here for a few minutes while we just whittled down the 2 battleships over here. Both of the red destroyers have been spotted near B, but it's a quick trip from B to C to torp me if I had overcommitted. At the same time, 90% of the matches on this map would have 7 or 8 of my team behind the island to the southwest. But for some reason, we got lucky this time, and this game is playing out fairly uniquely, which is to say, it's playing out the way that it should. So now, we're starting to have a little bit of a collapse at B, so it's time for me to start going forwards. We need to herd what remains of these ships over here to the west before the B-cap ships all decide that they want to come this way. If they do that, I'm going to be in bad shape. First, try and get this King George. Alright, so we get the King George, and we're down 3 ships. They're only down 1. But what I do have here is the position that I want. The Tirpitz has gone to the north. There's an Amagi up to the north. The Belfast is right here. And I'm expecting a destroyer to be headed this way pretty soon. In the ideal world, the Bismarck that spawned with us would be heading north to help herd, but they have instead opted to continue south, which is going to leave me doing a 1v4. And it would be great if I could get the French destroyer here, but even with all these dispersion buffs, this is never going to have the Yubari's accuracy. So my position here is pretty key. I'm angled to the battleships to the north, and I'm using the terrain to block any torpedoes coming from the port side. And in doing that, I'm hoping to funnel the red ships into this opening just north between the 2 islands. If I can do that, then I only need to angle one way, and I can dictate where the destroyer's torpedoes will be coming from. So once we get to our position, it's time to hit the hydro and start fluctuating speeds and directions. Seeing that smoke, I had originally thought that it was the Belfast, but those torpedoes say otherwise, and as such I hit the brakes and turn in. I am going to take a torpedo, so I use my damage con, and I'm going to hit my enhanced secondary booster, and watch these go to work. They're going to end up taking out the French destroyer, and they're just constantly chipping away at this Belfast. I even have a few going off on the other side at the Amagi. So I'm going to fake turning out here to try and get the Jervis to waste their other set of torpedoes, and then turn back in hard towards the Belfast, still maintaining my angle primarily to the Amagi, as that is the biggest threat. This Belfast is done for. The only question is, will I be buying another secondary gunner a drink at the bar tonight, or will it be the primaries? Looks like it'll be the primary guns. No drinks for the gunner. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon. As our Hydro has picked up the last destroyer, and we get our second close quarters medal and the double strike. I know you guys are thinking it's Kraken time. We're at 4 ships sunk, 110,000 damage, and because my team opted to head south instead of push north, everything is set up for me to get Kraken 205 or wherever we are. But clearly, that doesn't happen, as this is a Trainables video. Now, what I don't know is if this Amagi captain got disconnected or quit. We know they fired a salvo right before the Belfast was sunk. So either way, it was recent, and I don't really care. What I care is to sink them and adjust my angling for the Tirpitz now. Even still, had they been here, I pretty much would have kept this angle. I may have gone a bit more north to create more of a sharper angle to the Amagi, but generally speaking, I'm keeping the enemies in one direction while I focus down one at a time. And you can see I'm pinging my team there to be shooting the Tirpitz because I want to sink this, and honestly, I don't need their help. But somebody just keeps spamming HE at this Amagi. I wonder who it could be, and I wonder what ship they're in. For extra credit, somebody take a guess. Alright, does everybody have their answers written down now? We'll have to do this on the honor system since I can't see what you wrote. But if you wrote goddamn Wichita, well then you passed the test. I'm helping you. Yeah. Hate the ship. And hate the player in the ship. We're in the end game. There's a Poltava on A that I won't get a shot at due to the mountain range. So the only thing left is the perpetually fleeing turpets. Not much positioning required now other than don't go broadside and be aware that they have torps, so still change your direction sometimes. Now, it could be that this turpets would continue to run forever. As you know, you cannot run forever, but they are actually going to turn in here sooner than later. And my secondaries are still going to town. We're going to break, I think, 150,000 damage here soon. As you can see, these secondaries, they still do pretty good. Mine is 11.4 kilometers. I've got Von Hipper at 16 Legendary 3 right now. But they just chip down, and here and there they start fires. We saw them take out the French destroyer not that long ago, quite successfully. Wasn't even looking over there, didn't even plan on actually taking it out, but you know, they are good. So once the little guns get their penetration buffed, this should be interesting. Maybe that'll be in this next patch, and thanks to all you for subscribing and getting me into the CC program, so I will get access to the notes a couple days early, so I can make a video after chewing on the fat of the contents. Anyway, we're winding this one down, and I hope this gave you a little guidance on the slow, steady push of the Bismarck. To me, I honestly play it more like an overly aggressive Russian battleship, and less like a balls-to-the-wall German brawler a la Tirpitz or Odin. I wonder who's going to get this last kill. I'm helping! To summarize, for me, I want to just get inside of secondary range so they can do their admittedly small thing. But it does add up, and maybe someday we'll get a better battle results screen to see a breakdown. But positioning is very, very key. For all ships, but especially this one. So, 2,419 XP, a middle-of-the-road good game. No Krakens, no six-pack, but hopefully some brain nuggets for you to digest. If you have any questions or comments on this, my office hours are down below. As always, this class is pass-fail, so hit like to pass, hit dislike to fail, and consider subscribing to get first dibs on your assigned seating in the next class. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll get back out there for another video soon, and we'll talk then.